Hello there. So today we're going to be looking at some activities in Java. The first one is multiplication activity. We're going to need to show the multiplication tables from 1 to 12, calculate the sum of all the numbers given from 1 to the given number, find the factorial of the numbers, and exit the program. So if we look at the instructions we're given, we can already determine that this is either going to be an if state. The program is going to contain if statements or a switch statement, but preferably a switch statement since it says exit the program. So you're going to be given a choice where you have to choose between 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. And you can see that by the display, right? Display the multiplication table of the numbers up to 12. So and calculate the sum of all the numbers from 1 to a given number. So we're going to look at the code. I'm done with the code now. So let's look at the code. So you have your basic import your scanner, your public class, naming it, and everything, right? So the real code starts here. So you're going to say int choice because we're going to have a display menu. So int is the choice from 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can exit the program with 4. So when you put 4 in the choice, you can exit the program. So int choice, and we're gonna do a do while loop. So the do is here, and then the while is here. And if choice is not equals to 4, right? So this means if the choice here, the number here is not equals to 4, then the code will run. So the code will run from 1 to 3 perfectly. It'll display what it needs to display, but when it clicks 4, it's going to exit. If it clicks 5, it's going to give you an invalid error message because there's more inside the do while loop that will ensure that if you choose a number that's greater than 4, you will get invalid error message. So let's look at our display menu right here. So we're going to say system.out the print. Remember our print statement. We're going to give the user the print options here. Math menu, multiplication table, sum of the numbers, factorial, and exit. Those are the choices they have. They have 4 choices, and then the fourth one is to exit. And then afterwards, we're going to look at here. We're going to give them the choice to enter what choice they want. Enter your choice, right? Then we're going to say choice equals new scanner right there, because it's right there. Dot next int, because it's an integer, and then the 2 brackets, and then you close it. And then you're going to do a switch statement because now it's choices. You can use an if statement or switch statement, but I find switch statements are much easier to use in these cases where you're dealing with menus. Unless it's stated otherwise, use a if if it's stated, use an if statement. So you're going to say switch choice inside the condition, and then here the cases are the choice, the condition itself. So case 1, if choice equals case 1, right? If the user enters 1 here by choice, by enter your choice, they enter 1, this is going to be the, excuse me, the output. So it's going to say system dot print enter a number for the multiplication table, int sum, initializing a number, the num, which is an int, equals scanner dot next int. So system print multiplication table for num, and then it prints the multiplication table for your number, and then you're going to have a for loop inside, which is very important because now this for loop says I equals 1 and I must be less or equals to 12, meaning that it's going to print out the multiplication table for the number that you've given, right, from 1 to 12. So 1 times whatever the number, 2 times until 12, right? Say and then for case number 2, if the your user chooses option 2, it's gonna say enter a number to calculate the sum from 1 to that number. So int end equals scanner dot next, and then you close it. If the end is less than 1, system print please enter a positive number, else the end sum equals 0, and then you have a for loop to say if I equals 1 and I is less or equals to end, then I increment. So increment the sum at I here. So system print out the sum of numbers from 1 to the end is the sum. So that's gonna print the end numbers and the sum itself. So number 3 is the factorial, right? So we're gonna have system into a number to calculate its factorial. So int fact number equals scanner. The next int double here, and then you're gonna say if, right here, very important. If the factor number is less than 0, system print out factorial is not defined for negative numbers, so it can't be negative. Else the long factorial equals 1. We're gonna use long here because we're working with factorials, but you can use double as well. For int at I equals 1, and then I equals, or it's less or equals to fact, and then increment. And then what this means here is that the number by factorial, oh sorry, let me undo all that. Here, the long number by factorial, which is equals to 1, is going to be times by the number at I, meaning that instead of saying factorial times I, we just do this, so it automatically does that inside the for loop. And then the system is going to print out factorial, the factorial of the fact number is the factorial. So then number 4 basically exits the program. Excuse me. So now let's test out the code itself and see if it runs as it should. Wrong place. Right place now. So remember, Javik control v dot java then control v, and then yeah, there we go. See, it runs perfectly now. It shows my menu. So let's click number 1, choice number 1. Let's say 4. As you can see, it has printed out the times the multiplication table for 4. Now let's click 2 because it's in the do while loop. It's gonna keep repeating itself until I exit myself. So let's say 5. So the sum of numbers from 1 to 5 is 15, which is correct. So now let's do number 3. Let's say 5 again. The factorial number of 5 is 120, which is also correct. Let's do number 2 again. Let's do 2. The sum of the numbers 1 to 2 is 3, and then let's do 1. Oh sorry, no, let's do 2. Let's do 7. The numbers from 1 to 7 is 28. Okay, let's do 1. No, wait, let's do 2. Then let's do 1. It's 1. So basically the sum of the numbers calculates the numbers. It adds them up from this number to this number to give you the full number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 added together gives you 28. And then here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives you 15. Let's count it. It's 1, then plus 2 is going to be 3, plus 3 it's going to be 6, plus 4 it's going to be 6 plus 4, 10, plus 5 is going to be 15, just like that. So this code does run, so you can also challenge yourself. So yeah, and if you want to make things interesting, you can come here and do this code. Create a Java program called even and odd analyzer that asks the user to enter a range of numbers start and end. The program should do the following: loop through all the numbers in the range. For each number, check whether it's even or odd. Display each number with the message even or odd. At the end of uh, at the end, display the total count of even numbers, odd numbers, the sum of even and odd numbers. So piece of advice: even numbers, when you modulus divide them, they should give you 0. So it should say sum modulus division by 2 equals 0 equals 0. So it's equal two equal signs and then 0 at the end, and that's how you know it's a even number. Just a tip.